back on the Morning Brew with friends, and we got our friends Steven and Steven. This is great.
Here we go.
Steve Westman, the Curious Townie.
Bookends.
Thanks for being on. And you found Steven. Did you guys meet each other walking around, or that just happened?
It goes back 19 years, about when you first hit town, right?
That's right, yeah. I got to Albuquerque, it was 19 years ago, April 2nd.
Wow.
I was wandering around Malaysia for 5 weeks previous, and from Borneo to Penang, me and my girlfriend decided we're going to go to Santa Fe.
And you got sucked in and stayed?
Yeah, we did. We tried to get to Santa Fe. We went to Kuala Lumpur.
We call it the land of entrapment for a reason, right?
Yeah. Tried to get a direct flight from Kuala Lumpur, and that wasn't going to work.
No, I don't think that there's direct flights there for some port yet.
Yeah, we did make it to Albuquerque and decided to stay. Got here with nothing but a duffel bag and no car, and so we were walking around for a while.
It was a duffel bag, wasn't it?
Just a duffel bag, and we lived out of that for a little while.
And so you've been walking around Albuquerque for the last 19 years, then, is that?
We eventually did get a car.
But you have a book now out called Walking Albuquerque.
That is true.
And this is full of, oh, there we go, we got a good photo of it there. It's a bunch of awesome walking tours you can take, day hikes, urban hikes as I call them, right?
Well, they're not so much day hikes. The last book would have covered that, but you can see on the map there where all these 30 walks are scattered around from the South Valley all the way up to Bernalillo, out to our volcanoes and to the edge of our Sandia National Wilderness.
Very cool. So have you been an urban hiker your whole life, or is this something that you were new in a city like Albuquerque and just had to explore it and you found these?
I found a lot of them just doing this book. I mean, I knew there were things in each neighborhood that had to be in it.
Oh, yeah.
But to make an entire walk out of it meant finding a lot of other things and then connecting the dots.
Did you set out to do a book, or did you set out to hike and then you realized there was a book later?
The publisher asked me to do a book. It was part of a series. They had already another 24 other cities completed, and they wanted Albuquerque. So
very cool. Well, what did you find? What were some of the cooler hikes and what were some of the more interesting walking tours you found?
I was surprised how much I gravitated toward the South Valley. I think that was mostly because of the new National Wildlife Refuge.
It's beautiful out there.
It is gorgeous.
It's amazing. It's right there off 2nd Street, and then there's the railroad tracks that go right by it.
Right
it's just
there.
Cool and interesting.
So it's right there between the tracks and the river, and it's nearly 600 acres, and was one of the biggest pieces of undeveloped farmland in the urban area.
Right. It's amazing out there.
And it keeps changing, and it keeps getting better.
Right. And then there's the county has several properties around there too that are pretty interesting. Did you get a chance to go to was it the Hubble House I want to call it?
Right. We got some pictures of that.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. So did you in your travels all around Albuquerque, did you have to shoot pictures of things like the Hubble House yourself, or did you have a photographer go with you and do this?
I took all my own pictures.
Very cool.
And
let's just go ahead. We got some of these pictures here. I know this well. This is underneath. This is Central as it goes underneath the railroad tracks.
Right. And that was one of the surprises because I had never actually gone that way into downtown.
Oh, this is going to be going away if the city.
I'm afraid it might be.
Yeah, these are some of the photos the city put up 2 or 3 years ago, and. It's just this nice little walking tour that you can kind of go through underneath the railroad tracks at Central. But now they're trying to make that an at-grade crossing to make that a little bit more easy to get through. It can be sketchy right there.
That's a bummer.
Right. Did you run into sketchy places?
There's some that could be. I never ran into any trouble.
Excellent. We got more photos here from the book. I love this. That's a beautiful Thunderbird right there.
It is. And it's one of my favorite kinds of cars because it is parked and it's not on the street and it's not going to run you over. But this is in the Huning Highland neighborhood, which I haven't spent a lot of time in before. And
It'd be interesting walking around in that old historic bar. Yeah.
It is. It's really, really nice. And it was Albuquerque's first. What do they call it? How do they put it? The first Anglo neighborhood.
Yes. And we've got the rail yards.
We've got the rail yards.
Which is where my great-grandfather worked at the rail yards.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, back in the 20s. That was his job.
And another big surprise there is how nice they've got that now.
It's beautiful.
How many cultural events they've got going on there. Little surprised too how much support it's not getting from the city. It should be, I think. What do you think? Getting more support?
You know, I've written about it quite a bit, about how there's been a fight with a lot of people trying to get, basically, with the rail yards market itself there, and the city's trying to make it a bi-weekly thing, or, you know, it bigs up the schedule a little bit. And it's been an interesting fight to see, because the city wants to open up. It's so popular,
right,
that the city wants to see many more things there. But then, of course, the rail yards market itself is so popular, you don't want to lose that.
That's true.
And so there's so many people who want to be there. Of course, I know on St. Patrick's Day last week, they had the big beer tour there. Did you go to that, Steve?
I did not.
It was, I didn't go either, but I heard it was just madhouse. It's like 2,000 people there. And it was great. $30 and it's like all the beer you
People are
drink.
going downtown.
Right, people are going.
And walking, hopefully.
And that is one of the things, right, and walking. And then we got a whole bunch more photos here from the new book. When did the book come out, by the way?
It came out just a couple of weeks ago.
Great.
Yeah.
And we can get it at local bookstores, Amazon, all of that.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
cool.
He's at Bookworks tonight at 7.
Correct.
To do a book signing. Excellent.
Right. And
Very
a bigger
cool.
presentation.
Very cool. We have some more slides here too. And what is going on here?
This is Value to Oro, just before it was Value to Oro, when it was still Price's Dairy. I really wanted this property in my hiking guidebook, and they
Which
kept
was the previous book.
Right. And they just kept saying, it's not ready yet, you can't put it in the Finally, I get to put it in the book.
That's cool.
And they have some massive tumbleweeds there, apparently.
Yeah, that's a
So,
huge tumbleweed.
It was
Was
kind
it
of
heavy?
No, it was feather light. I mean,
They're kind of they're crazy, because you expect a tumbleweed to be like a tree, but no, they blow in the wind. They can't be that heavy.
Yeah.
You
Price's
know?
Valley Gold
Right.
milk.
Right.
Wow.
So how long did you work on the book? I mean, it's like it would take me years to do all of these day hikes and walking around.
it took. I thought it was going to be a winter project, and it took. It started in November, and had the first 30 turned in by July.
So November of like 2013.
Right.
Right.
So
took a while.
It took about twice as long as, because I had other projects going on, but it took about twice as long as I thought it would, and then things kept changing, and I was reading Albuquerque Business First every day to see what was going to change next.
Yeah, because there's always a new development. We just wrote about the new De Anza development. Is De Anza in the book? Because that's one of the crazy, bizarre hotels of the city. You know.
Where's that going?
That's the one on East Central.
Okay.
And it's going to be a condo
Indianapolis.
hotel now. It should be interesting.
Right.
And I'll work with you. We'll do next project that can be the De Anza, because it's crazy.
I have a question. So, with the 60 hikes, people were able to go online and see what trail conditions were and what had changed, right?
More or less, depending. Yeah.
Anything going to be interactive with this book?
Yeah, if anything, already things are changing, so as soon as they do, I post it on my website.
That's,
The first thing to go was Flying Star and Bernalillo, so.
Right.
Oh, is that in the book?
It's in the book, and it was a little too late to change it before we went to press.
What else was kind of... Albuquerque right now is going through dramatic change, no doubt.
Absolutely.
What are some of the other things that you found that were awesome you wanted to keep in the book that are now disappearing? We got Flying Star, we got the Vadoro changing.
Changing, yeah, and that's going to keep changing. I had predicted that they were going to put 4th Street through the plaza a little earlier than we did. So that map is a little off. I'm hoping, I like the idea of doing that, of carving up that plaza.
Well, briefly, what was your favorite hike? And what was the one with the biggest surprise?
Favorite one? The biggest surprise? I think the Poblanos was favorite in the sense it's the one I've done the most often, because I used to live near that neighborhood.
Yeah,
and would
North
run through I used to run through those fields all the time. But I never really got back into the neighborhood and where the houses were. I couldn't tell the difference between a house and a resort. And so it was like, wow, that is.
And it's a crazy. It's very cool to go down the ditch there and see the houses and
farm
everything.
neighborhood.
Yeah,
It's amazing back in there.
It
It's
is.
cool. We'll be back in a couple of seconds, though, on the Morning Brew with Friends. We'll talk a little bit more about the book and a whole lot more on the Morning Brew with Friends.